Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your March 2018 mid-month general readings. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Welcome and any newcomers. Thank you for all your likes, shares, subscribes, your support, feedback, and comments. Always welcome and appreciated. And thank you to all of my clients out there, both my regular clients and my new ones, for keeping me so busy with one-on-one readings. It is always an honor and a pleasure to read for you, all of you really. So thank you for that. And if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, live or recorded, and you haven't read with me before, you can get more information and contact details by going to my YouTube channel's homepage, clicking on the About button. You can also find the same information attached to the description bar of all the videos that I post. Turnaround time for personal readings is usually pretty fast and pretty reasonable because I do readings full-time, 5 to 6 days a week. It is what I do. So scheduling can be anywhere from a few days if I get, cancellations or reschedules, or upwards of a couple of weeks, usually within a 2-week period of time or so. We can set up a reading for you live or recorded. So feel free to email me directly at maggie1maguire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. For those of you who are not looking for the traditional in-depth readings, you just maybe have a quick question or two, you just want a simple fast answer, you have a decision you need to make quickly, you can connect with me on the smartphone app Instantgo under the profile name Irish Gypsy. That is also with the rest of my contact details. They have a one question, one answer option. You can open it up for a short little reading via text, or they have a video chat or a phone audio option as well. So something else to consider in our technologically savvy world today. All right, let's get right into this. This is for the water sign of Scorpio for March 2018 mid-month. We are looking at the remainder of March 2018. I am recording these videos, the mid-month videos, in the second week of March. Okay, Scorpio, let's see what's in store for you for the next couple of weeks. We have the Nine of Pentacles, followed by the Three of Cups. We have the Magician, followed by the Three of Pentacles, and your overall energy and guidance is the Nine of Wands. So this is a push through kind of energy, Scorpio. Which is what your crowning card from the bottom of the deck, your overall energy and advice for the remainder of March is. We have the Nine of Wands here, fire energy, that's the element which governs wands. Let's see, we have one pentacle, one cup, one wand, two pentacles. The Nine of Wands is a card that, you might be feeling a little bit discouraged. You may have, recently had a setback of some kind, a delay of some kind, a run up against an obstacle or a hurdle of some kind. Maybe you weren't expecting it. Maybe you thought you were almost done or close to nearing the end of something, and something came up and you're like, and you might be feeling kind of a bit discouraged, which is what this card can imply. This soldier, he's fought a lot of battles. He wants to be done. He's close to being done because we're at the 9, 10s represent completion. So he's going along. All of a sudden he's run into this cluster of wands behind him, which represent, a challenge, an obstacle, a delay, a hurdle. Maybe he wasn't expecting it. It's kind of at the 11th hour. I just want to be done. Maybe taking a few steps back, not a full-blown retreat, but taking a few steps back, taking a knee and feeling maybe a little tired, discouraged. But it's a card about pushing through because you're almost there. You're almost done, or at least taking a step back to make the decision on how to deal with this. It's funny because it's not actually entirely clear from these cards, although but I'm feeling relationship for a lot of you for some reason. So this may have something to do with a significant relationship in your life, be it love and romance, best friends, significant work relationship, family even. But this is a card about pushing through. It's always darkest before the dawn. You're right around the corner from completion, even though you can't see it because you're right around the corner. It's that kind of energy. It is a card that typically in the upright position represents, yeah, I know, it's yet one more thing, or you've been hit with something, but you're almost there. You're really close to being at the end of the journey, or to a goal post, a completion point where you can transition into something else. So it's typically a card of pushing through. And I say typically because if it's a relationship issue, and I mean, let's face it, we live in a free will zone. If you're in a relationship that's really toxic and negative and not healthy, of course, you know, you have to make decisions that are best for you. This is a card that usually that represents whatever area of your life this is resonating in. The advice from Spirit is to push through. You're closer than you think to where you want to be. Even if it's not apparent from your vantage point or from your perspective now. These are general readings, which means that you're reading for, you know, a lot of people, which is always tricky. So some of you, this might resonate in one area of your life. Some of you, it might resonate in a different area of your life. I think a lot of you, it's relationship of some kind. You know, and it's going to vary in degrees of intensity and timing. Because you're all different. Everybody has different things going on in their lives. Of course, it's impossible for it to mean the same thing for everybody. Which is why we advise you to check your rising and your moon sign, if you know them, for additional insight. But push through. It's overall guidance. And I feel like, okay, so we have two cards at the beginning, which are both fairly like independent, happy, almost like living a single life kind of energy. We have the Nine of Pentacles and the Three of Cups. I must be getting somebody's specific story in here too. The Nine of Pentacles is a card of enjoying the fruits of your labors because you've worked really hard for them. Nobody's handed anything to you on a silver platter. Everything that you're currently enjoying, which looks pretty abundant, pretty prosperous, whether in dollars and cents or material possessions or surroundings or all of those, or just feeling like you're at a really great place in life because you've worked hard to get there. It's a card of self-reliance, independence, self-sufficiency, of not needing anybody. I mean, if you want someone to be with or share your life with, fine, but you'll be picky and choosy about it because you're not doing it out of need. It is a card that represents independence and self-reliance, which is a positive energy, of course, but no card is a standalone in a spread. It's influenced by the surrounding cards. It's accompanied and clarified by the Three of Cups, which is a card, it's a strong social energy as well. It's sometimes called the party card. It can be about being out. It's a card about enjoying yourself as well, going out, enjoying yourself, particularly with friends. It can be that kindred spirit, sisterhood, brotherhood, best friends kind of energy, being out, enjoying yourself, partying, enjoying it. And it could be that a lot of you are in that place. You're enjoying this part of your life. It's kind of a combination, Sagittarius, that looks like just a really bright, happy combination of being, you know, single or being kind of, you know, in that sort of energy where, you know, you're taking care of yourself. You're not really, you know, you don't have a lot of maybe other responsibilities to deal with, or, I mean, you know, you could be with somebody else or have children to care for or whatever, but you've worked hard for what you've gotten. You're in a good place. You're enjoying your independence and your self-sufficiency. You feel very empowered in your own self and in your own life path. You enjoy going out and spending time with friends. Maybe you're going to have some opportunities to do that. You could be celebrating things with friends as well. For some of you, I'm getting that you're in a relationship and this is your partner or someone that you're dating, or it could be someone you're already in a well-established relationship with. I say that because taken just alone, those two cards would be entirely positively focused and oriented. And it's not that they're bad in and of themselves, but with your crowning energy feeling like you've run into a hurdle or a snag, or just feeling kind of tired because, you know, it feels like, you know, the path is not ending, or you're not getting to where you want to be. You're not done yet. I feel like for a lot of you in relationships, it could be you with this energy, or it could be your partner with this energy. That maybe you're in a relationship or dating and it's in a certain phase, and maybe you want it to move to the next phase, but your partner is the kind of person that maybe still just kind of wants to keep it the way it is, or you might be the person that wants to keep it the way it is. For those of you for whom this may not resonate in a, you know, love and romance relationship, it could just be that you're just enjoying that type of lifestyle of not having to be too responsible or accountable outside of your own self and your own environment. It could be that the situation that you need to push through is about work or career, or the Pentacles energy of your life. I look at elemental energy when cards come out in a spread. You have Wands, which is fire energy, creating, building, manifesting. Cups, which is Sorry, Wands is fire energy. Cups is water energy, which is emotions, feelings, relationships. You have one of each of those, no swords, but you have 2 pentacles, so you have a little bit more earth energy than anything else. And in the tarot, the energy of pentacles usually manifests, because it's earth energy, in earthly ways. The areas of our life that deal with practical, tangible, see, touch, feel sort of things, or that energy, money, finances, property, real estate, job. It could be that there's a situation for some of you at work, or something that's challenging your ability to be, I'm just not feeling it. I mean, it could always be for some of you manifesting in work. I'm not seeing it. I'm not getting anything about that. So if it's not a relationship issue of some kind for you, whether it's love and romance or friendship or maybe a work relationship or family, then it might be one of those times where your rising or moon sign might be more predictive for you. I feel like for a lot of you, it's some type of relationship. And the specifics and details will vary in general readings always. But the energy typically and advice typically fundamentally remains the same. It looks like what needs to be pushed through, or what the issue is, whether you're on this side of it or the other side of it, is a sense of independence, of not having to answer for or be accountable outside of yourself or your life, or maybe it's your partner or somebody else that's doing this, and just kind of wanting to go out and have a good time and not really have to step outside of yourself, or them step outside of themselves. And it may be that your partner's feeling tired about that if it's you, or that if it's your partner, you might be feeling tired. It's like, I've been investing in this relationship or this thing, and it's not, I want it to go to the next level, because it looks like what the challenge is this sense of not wanting to compromise and negotiate, which requires thinking about the other person, agreeing on what the most important thing is, and giving a little bit, taking a little bit here and there, because towards the end of the month, we have the Magician and the Three of Pentacles. 2 very kind of different energy cards, somewhat a little somewhat conflictive, which means that the advice would always be to find the balance between these 2. So the Magician is a very independent, sometimes a bit of a trickster, but it's a very independent energy. He walks his own path. He's worked long and hard to get to where he's at, and this is right next to the Nine of Pentacles. Worked long and hard to get to that place of independence and self-sufficiency and prosperity. The Magician too has walked a long path. He's learned a lot through trial and error, through success and triumph and failures and defeats. He's learned a lot. He's kept on going, and now he's finally reached a point in his craft where he has reached a mastery of everything in his craft. All the tools, knowledge, wisdom, and experience to create, build, and manifest anything that he wants to, because of everything that's gone in front of it. Very independent, and he marches to his own tune. And if the Magician has a challenge, it's usually in compromising, negotiating, working with other people, stepping outside of his own kind of sphere. Sometimes he can be very self-focused and self-oriented, because he has his own way of doing things. He's walked his own path for a long time, and then that's worked for him, and so why change it? And why, if it's working, I don't want to change anything. So his challenge often is in working with other people, or stepping outside of his own realm, because he can be very self-centered and self-oriented. In a way that may sometimes cause issues, because in a relationship with somebody else, regardless of the nature of the relationship, you have to from time to time step outside of that own sphere to go, okay, when I'm in a relationship with somebody else, what I do, what I say actually has an effect on the other person, and I need to consider that. Not have it run your life. We don't want to go the opposite end of the extreme, but it needs to be a factor. It's a consideration. The Magician sometimes struggles with that. Now, the Magician is clarified and accompanied by the Three of Pentacles, which is all about compromise and negotiation and teamwork. This is kind of a little bit of the opposite energy of the Magician. This represents kind of the Magician's challenge. because so the Three of Pentacles is about teamwork, compromise, negotiation. You're agreeing that there's something that needs to be accomplished. The analogy is like you have because it's the artisanship card. It's about taking pride in what you build, but it's not a solo card. In fact, in other tarot decks, you often see the other people that work with him to create and build these things. So you have one big project, maybe one big building, a good healthy relationship, whatever your big goal is, but you can't just go from step A to step Z. You have to set small achievable goals. It's a process. With every small goal met, you celebrate that and you move on to the next one. It's about working together, compromise and negotiation. Not everybody agrees on how it should be done, perhaps, but they all agree that they have the same goal in mind, and so it's about give and take, compromise and negotiation, which is what teamwork represents, in order to get to the ultimate goal, which the Magician sometimes struggles with. So whether you're the Magician, Scorpio, I just did Sagittarius, whether you're the Magician, Scorpio, whether your partner or your friend or whatever this other person, because I feel like it's just all I'm getting is relationship, you're being asked, I think, to find a balance in that, to kind of maybe step outside of some of that lovely, bright, nothing wrong with it, independent energy. Yes, you've worked really hard to get to where you're at, or yes, they have, and they've done it by doing their own thing and following their own path, but realizing that in order to accomplish what is the most important thing here in this project, in this relationship, compromise and negotiation means that people don't get everything absolutely that they want. But they prioritize what's the really important thing here. What are we both kind of working towards? And it's about compromising and negotiation so you can achieve that. And it looks like it's that issue. It looks like there's maybe somebody's, walked their own path and lived their own life for quite a while by themselves, or maybe, serially dating, not going past a certain point because, they just don't want to step outside of their own sphere to have to, think about somebody else and think about how you might affect somebody else, because relationships are work sometimes. That's just the short version of it. They're work sometimes. They're a living, growing thing, so they have to be maintained. And sometimes that can be difficult with people who've walked a solitary path, an independent path for a long time. And it looks like that's the challenge here. It might be you feeling frustrated and tired, like, is this going to go anywhere? Or it might be your partner feeling that way about you, the other person in the relationship. The advice overall is still the same, Scorpio. However the specifics and details of this play out in whatever area of your life this is, you're being asked, for the time being at least, to not give up, maybe take a step back, but to not give up and to keep pushing forward. Of course, if you're in a relationship or a situation that's really toxic and unhealthy, and then of course you need to make decisions that are in your own best interest for your own best health. So I always say that. For the majority of you, it looks like just maybe take a rest, but don't give up just quite yet. Okay, Scorpio, that pretty much wraps up your March 2018 mid-month general reading. So it's an interesting reading. A bit on the complex side. Probably a lot more to it. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed it, that you found it useful in some way. Again, if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, go to my YouTube channel's homepage, click on that About button for more information. You'll also find that info attached to the description bar of all the videos I post. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks, Scorpio, for the April 2018 general readings. Until then, as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Take care, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.